Long ago, rock, paper, and scissors lived in harmony. Then everything changed when April Fools came along. Only one person, a completely unqualified therapist, could stop the chaos. But when the world needed them most, they lost a rock, paper, scissors match. So, I'm a bit of a hopeless romantic. Longing gazes, love them. Discreet hand-holding, mwah, chef's kiss. Will they, won't they, that for some reason has 4 different ships with the same 2 characters that will last till the heat death of the universe? I eat that up like a child left alone in a candy store. The point is, I like romance, but one trope in romance that I have strong feelings towards is love triangles. Because this is not a triangle. It's a sad, definitely not polygon angle, and I did not suffer through my high school geometry class to be gaslit into thinking this is a triangle. It's missing a side. I need to calm down. I am an adult. However, so I made a dating sim with an actual love triangle. Sort of. There is a triangle, yes, but you're not in it. Because finding love in 2025? You're funny. You're not the romantic lead, you're the therapist for the most unstable love triangle in the history of humankind. What? No, not them! Bat, stay back! I'm talking about the original love triangle. Rock, paper, scissors. No? Just me? Okay. First things first, we're going to need a game engine. And I chose this little thing that I'm sure visual novel fans are already familiar with, Ren'Py. Ren'Py? If anybody knows the official pronunciation, please tell me, but for now I will be calling it Ren'Py. The great thing about Ren'Py is that it's already set with all the basics, saving, loading, menus, so all I had to do was figure out how to throw some text and images on screen, and to my surprise, Ren'Py comes with a handy little tutorial. After speedrunning the tutorial and beating Eileen at Pong first try, I proceeded to get to work and create my very first project. Once the project was properly set up, it was time to make the integral part of the game, the rock, paper, scissors minigame. The idea is that instead of traditional options to make decisions, you use rock, paper, and scissors, and depending on what option you choose and whether you win, lose, or tie, the story will progress accordingly. Because if life has taught me anything, it's that randomness is what brings spice into life. And also pain. Since Ren'Py doesn't have an inbuilt rock, paper, scissors system, I consulted the knowledge of the ancestor and their vast array of domains, and their knowledge looked something like this. And this. And this. Oh, wait, no, that last one was because I misspelled something. In short, to make the minigame, we first make rock, paper, scissors buttons, put the buttons on one side of a Ren'Py screen, make a simple little animation with rapidly changing icons on the other side of the screen, add a title to the top of the screen, and voila, a decent looking minigame. It sounds pretty straightforward when you put it like this, but unfortunately it will take past bakes several days to reach the conclusion we have come to, and instead the first version looks something like this. Ugh. It's not pretty, but the foundation is there, and that's good enough. So, on to the next step. Any good visual novel requires some quality sprites and characters, so it's time for some character introductions. Coming up first is The Rock, also known as Ro. Stoic, emotionless, the type of person who'd watch paint dry for 24 hours. They're not mean, they just process emotions like a boulder rolling down a hill, slowly and with probable collateral damage. Next is Sham, the paper. Theatrical, dramatic, absolutely exhausting in the best way, or at least that's what they would tell you. If they're not the center of attention, they will become it by sheer force of will. Underneath all that spaz and pizzazz though, there's genuine care. And a touch of manipulation. Okay, maybe a lot of manipulation. And finally, Poe, the scissors. Sharp-tongued, sharp-minded, sharp everything. They solve their problems by cutting through them, literally and metaphorically. And if that doesn't work, yelling usually does. But under all of that fight or flight, which is mostly fight, is someone who cares. Probably a bit too much. And of course, they're in a wildly toxic love triangle because I looked at the childhood game of rock, paper, scissors and thought, yeah, but what if they all had crushes on the one they beat and sabotage each other's gift out of spite and unresolved trauma? Are you okay? Totally normal thought processes. And also, they're in a pink room. Yay! And now for the part that makes a visual novel an actual novel, the writing. Unfortunately for me, my writing process usually goes like this. Well, that will have to do. The premise goes something like this. Ro, Sham, and Poe have decided that April Fools is the perfect day to exchange heartfelt gifts as a sign of appreciation, friendship, and totally not complicated feelings. And of course, nothing goes wrong. No one sabotages anything, no one accuses anyone else of sabotaging anything, and they definitely didn't sabotage each other's gifts because they thought someone else had already sabotaged theirs. You know, just your standard emotionally unstable love triangle logic, and there definitely isn't something bigger afoot than just these three silly little goobers being silly. So, with the story and the art ready, it was time to put it all together. Luckily, in Renpai, putting in dialogue is as simple as defining the character, writing the character, and then their dialogue. And images are simple, show image name. But there was a little voice in my head, in the far, far back of my brain, that was whispering, "Do more, you nerd." So, I added a funny effect that focuses and defocuses those who are talking, polished up a minigame, added in images for the GIFs, sound effects, and a title screen. And this decision definitely did not cause what was originally a silly little game that I thought would finish in 24 hours into something that would take almost a month. But finally, after 20 pages of script and over 1,000 lines of code, which was mostly the script, it was done! Anyways, if you want to try it out for yourself, there's a link in the description. It's a pretty short experience, so really, what do you have to lose? There's even a secret ending you can get. And while you're down there, if there are any other silly game ideas that you'd like to potentially see me make, let me know. To anybody who is considering doing their own visual novel, here's a few tips I would keep in mind. Number 1, do not do what I did and make each decision have 9 different outcomes. Turns out that's a lot of writing. Who would have thought? Along the same train of thought, it's helpful to have different convergent points within your stories such that you can reuse writing when possible. Better to work smarter and harder than just working harder. That makes sense, right? Number 2, for maximum efficiency, you can make smaller adjustments for each expression you want to make for your character sprites, instead of a completely different pose each time like I did. Turns out, creating well-designed sprites is not a simple thing to do, so if you want to save yourself from arthritis, that is something you can consider, and it definitely helps with character consistency. And number 3, finally, having a clear vision is quite helpful, as opposed to being confused and lost while in the process of creating the visual novel. Who would have guessed? You know, I feel like these are less tips and more just mistakes you made.
Meanwhile,